From VR treadmills to haptic vests, the hardware for Ready Player One is essentially here. And in this video, I want to take you on a journey to show you just how close we are to that dreamy future. And that journey begins with this, the Pimax Crystal. I have been on this search for 24 years, and it all started here in 1999, playing PS1 games and immersing myself in worlds and experiences. That's where this all began, that craving for new and immersive worlds to submerge myself in. I've always loved VR and have been seriously into it for 8 years now, but it's always had its limitations. I can't walk there, the screen's not clear enough, the graphics aren't good enough. But that is changing, the limitations are lifting. When I first got my HTC Vive and played games like Beat Saber, Superhot and Gorn, it made my hairs stand on edge because that was the first time I got a taste of that Ready Player One future. But it was clear that we weren't there yet because of those limitations. But now I feel like with the combination of technology available to us and with the right budget, we are here. And the Pimax Crystal, in my opinion, hardware-wise, ticks all those boxes. This isn't going to be a detailed specification video, but in short, it's 2880 by 2880 per eye, has local dimming, both standalone and wired through DisplayPort, is also capable of high bandwidth Wi-Fi streaming, compatible with base stations, but also has inside-out tracking. What I'm trying to get across is this is an everything headset. It's the headset you can imagine being the gateway into true immersion. It has all the features, and for the first time I've experienced no screen door effect, as the pixel density is high enough where the lines begin to blur. Just to give you an example of how clear it is, this is a comparison with other headsets. Now, I know there are negatives to the Pimax, and we will get to those, but to start, I really want to focus on the experience and show you where this technology brings us, because this is why I'm giving the Ready Player One comparison. The lines between realities are blurring, and combining a high-end PC VR headset with treadmills and haptic feedback equipment is giving you the feeling of reality without being in reality. And that starts with this, the replacement of cinema. I love going to the cinema, especially IMAX, but VR has always given us a taste of what it could be with apps like Big Screen. The only two things that were missing was clarity and audio. The Pimax was the first headset I thought I'm going to watch an entire film because I missed the cinema release of June, and this was a great way to test the blacks, image quality and the audio. I was amazed at the quality. I've been on big screen a fair few times, but not like this. If I woke up with the headset on and was plunged into this experience, I'd have no idea I was inside VR because this is the most one-to-one experience I've ever had. The floating index-like audio system is incredible, and it handled the bass of June's incredible soundtrack with ease. The local dimming made the dark screens almost pitch black, and the light blocking faceplate really does a good job in keeping you immersed. If the Pimax was the new standard, then VR cinema would explode because the quality is quite literally one-to-one. But exploring the potential of full immersive experiences moves past just basic cinema. And when you start to combine other immersive equipment with the Pimax like treadmills or haptic vests, then the experience starts to get incredibly real, and you begin to lose touch with reality. You can put yourself in the shoes of any character you can imagine. The combination of haptic vests and a space launch is a surreal experience. Even walking around on a catwalk shooting up bad guys like John Wick, it gets kind of scary how close we are to true immersion, when people will spend most of their time, most of their lives behind these headsets. But this brings me to the negative about the Pimax, and the same goes for all of this equipment, and that's setup. I can say the same for the Catwalk as I can for the Pimax, in that it's an absolute bitch to set up. Admittedly, with the Catwalk, mostly it was my errors, but the Pimax had me baffled for half a day. It's an incredibly complex device with a lot of features, and I think that comes at a cost. To be fair, the most recent updates have made this headset a lot easier to handle and set up, but it still wasn't easy. Once you understand how these devices work and how to set them up correctly, it really isn't much of a problem. The Pimax also draws a lot of power, so you need this extra module if you want to keep it going, and unfortunately mine had a slight loose connection, which I didn't find out until a few hours into the setup. Another thing I should note, running around on a VR treadmill with a haptic vest and a heavy headset, which is heavy at nearly 1 kilogram, is exhausting, and that alone pulls you back to reality. But for those moments where you're in awe of the sound quality of a cinema release, or you're looking up at the stars, or raiding a building, it's honestly worth the setup, the pain and the frustration. The feel and the experience what was shown in Ready Player One is possible with headsets like the Pimax, but what we are missing is the interconnected software to make this all seamless, to have one system, one game and one experience like the Oasis. And while there are promising candidates like VRChat, Roblox, Rec Room and Horizon Worlds, we still aren't there yet. The hardware is good enough, and the Pimax is good enough to blur those lines, but also another barrier to entry is cost. Everything I used to give myself these experiences, PC included, was nearly $5,000, which is not a consumer friendly amount, even though these are all consumer products. But in saying that, I paid $1,500 for the Quest Pro. And considering the Pimax Crystal is $1,600, the difference is night and day. You do get a sense of value for your money with the Crystal, as it has an incredible display, crisp audio, the fact that it's both standalone and capable of DisplayPort, PCVR or even over Wi-Fi is insane. And the fact they finally have utilised eye tracking to increase performance gives the Pimax features I've never seen from a headset. This is still the early days and cost will eventually come down, and today's high end will become tomorrow's standard. And one day we'll have our own Oasis to explore and live out our wildest dreams. For those that are interested in the products like the Pimax, the links are in the description. If you liked today's video, like and subscribe. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one.